Hey guys, welcome back to the other side of the coin. Two big talking points I want to talk about today. I suppose this is sort of transpired off the back of our first match in the Premier League, but nonetheless, I think in a wider spectrum we can discuss about this as well, not just related to that game. I think it's a good couple of points to really start discussing about this. So first of all, what I want to talk about is Callum Hudson-Odoi. Now, guys, when before the season even started, we knew who were our out-and-out wingers. So you have Hakim Ziyech, you've got Christian Pulisic, you've got Callum Hudson-Odoi, and possibly you have now, I suppose, Kepa'S. And then you can also throw in, who else is there? Werner could play in the wings as well. So we knew who would be our out-and-out wingers. And I think Callum Hudson-Odoi was one of the ones that would possibly get a fair amount of minutes throughout this particular season, knowing that really there should be rotation and whatnot. So having said that, we saw in the previous match that we already knew Ziyech and Pulisic weren't available. So it was very, I suppose, it's very usual to think that Callum Hudson-Odoi would probably play. But we saw the starting lineup and we went with the 4-2-3-1, and we went with Kepa'S in the right wing and Mason Mount in the left wing and Ruben Loftus-Cheek in the middle in the number 10 sort of position. Many were saying that Ruben Loftus-Cheek was probably like the guy up front to play the hold-up game. But then again, why didn't we play Giroud then? But that's a different story. So already we're seeing that, we could have still played Callum Hudson-Odoi and Mason Mount. If Mason Mount is a particular player that can't be dropped, let's just say for argument's sake, because he's far too important for this particular side, we could have still played both of them in the sense that instead of playing Jorginho, for example, you play Kante in the lone DM, you have Ruben Loftus-Cheek in the left centre mid, and you have Mason Mount on the right centre mid. And then you could have still played with Kepa'S and Callum Hudson-Odoi on the left and Timo Werner up front. And you could have used many other different formations. You could have even used, Timo Werner on the left, Giroud up front, Callum Hudson-Odoi on the right wing, and, Mason Mount, Ruben Loftus-Cheek, and Kante. Now, I get it. If you play with a double pivot, then it sort of becomes an issue. But again, I think someone like Kepa'S probably could have been okay to come off the bench, knowing that he's just arrived in the country. He hasn't really played much football in recent times, so him coming off the bench probably would have been an alright introduction from, for a debut, I suppose. And we could have played Callum Hudson-Odoi in the right wing as opposed to Kepa'S. So I suppose the question now is that, and even in that match against Brighton, he came in quite late in that match. So I don't know how much impact a player could pose right at the end when he's only given about 10 minutes to play. So now off the back of this, I don't know how true this particular rumor is. Apparently, in Germany, the rumors about Bayern Munich wanting to get Callum Hudson-Odoi is back on again in the table. So if I was Callum Hudson-Odoi and I saw this situation that if I can't even get a game, I can't even start when Pulisic and Ziyech is injured, then what chance do I have when they're both back? So you need to really, really start posing a question around this whole factor that, when does Callum Hudson-Odoi play and how much minutes does he get and what number winger is he? Because to me, it sounds like, he's not in front of Kepa'S, he's not in front of Mason Mount. Mason Mount plays in the wing. He's not in front of Pulisic. He's not in front of Ziyech. He's definitely not in front of Werner. So you start really questioning as to what number winger is he and what place does he have in this team at the moment. Because if I'm Callum Hudson-Odoi, I'd really be starting to think about my development. These are the development years. And that was a perfect match for Callum Hudson-Odoi to probably start and really play, aggressive football. We played against Brighton in a manner where it was more, I suppose, counter-attacking. We didn't play them, off the park. In fact, Brighton probably had most of the ball in terms of possession. I don't know what the final possession stats are, but they look far more controlled in the whole game as opposed to us. And as I said in my previous video yesterday off the back of the match review, that it is our first game, so we'll improve. But yeah, this whole Callum Hudson-Odoi story is starting to become a bit of a talking point in the sense that, you know, is he really part of Lampard's plan? And is it really his, you know, at his best interest to simply just play these 10 minutes and, you know, 15 minutes coming off in the second half and, you know, possibly play some cup matches? I don't know if that's good enough, to be honest. So watch this space as to what's happening here. Let me know what your thoughts are. Do you want to see more of Callum Hudson-Odoi, or do you think that perhaps he just doesn't do enough in training? Perhaps Lampard sees him that, you know, until I see, you know, that aggression in him, that, you know, coming off the bench just the way Pulisic did, I can't really, you know, it doesn't warrant a start. He needs to show. So let me know what your thoughts are, guys. It'll be very interesting to see what, you know, how this all transpires. Let's have a healthy discussion about it. Next topic that I want to talk about is Kepa. Guys, I was listening to Alex Goldberg's podcast, The Byline, where Simon Johnson featured just maybe 2 episodes ago. And they were talking about this particular issue. This whole Kepa issue is a lot deeper than we think. It's actually a big mess. We've bought him from an astronomical figure, and now it's to a point where there are no suitors out there that want him, whether it be loan, whether it be for purchase. Well, certainly they're not going to buy him for, because we don't want to make a loss out of it. So I think the talk is about we need to sell him for about £50 million in order for us to break even. I think that's the talk at the moment. And there's absolutely no suitors out there for that amount of price for Kepa at the moment. So we are stuck with this particular keeper. Now, having said that, if you look at the history of all the Premier League winners over the last, let's say, 20 to 30 years, not a single team you'll find, and this is what Gary Neville and Jamie Carragher were talking about post the Brighton match, that you won't find barely any, if any, teams that had average goalkeepers and ended up winning the Premier League. All of those goalkeepers that have won the Premier League over the last 25 to 30 years have all been excellent goalkeepers. You look at Chelsea, our winning, you know, title-winning seasons. We had Pulisic, or we had Courtois. You know, there's and not just us. You know, Man United had previously, you know, Peter Schmeichel, and they had Van der Sar. Yeah, Man City had Edison, Liverpool's had Alisson, even Leicester in their title-winning season. Kasper Schmeichel was really good, actually. He's a very good keeper indeed. So yeah, this is a big mess for us that there's no suitors out there. And if we are to think about winning the Premier League, we can't do it with Kepa. We already saw what happened with Brighton. That shot, honestly, that should have been saved. It goes straight through his palm, or it went under his palm, whatever it is. He needs to save that, and we see this far too often. And next opposition is Liverpool, and kid you not, I'm scared. I'm so worried that Liverpool will find opportunities to take long-range shots. And we can be as critical as we want to be with our defenders, but there's no way you can block off every long-range shots, because, you know, defenders are not going to go out and rush out every time there's a shot coming. There has to be a moment where the keeper needs to save all this as well. So, you know, Mendy is touted to come in. Apparently that deal is done and dusted. We're just waiting on, you know, confirmation now. He really needs to start for us ASAP if we want to have any shot of, you know, reducing this gap between Liverpool and Manchester City. So guys, yeah, this is a big issue for us. And as I said, you know, Marina is someone who doesn't want to take a loss on this. It's gonna probably effectively be an accounting loss for us. We need to probably just cut our losses here. And it's a big loss, you know. If we don't get to, you know, recoup at least 50 million, which I doubt we would, it's going to end up being a total mess. And I was hoping that now that he's, you know, got to start against Brighton, he probably will start against Liverpool, even though I'm hoping he doesn't. It's his opportunity to step up and do well, but he's not taking it, which is also detrimental for us because we can't seem to be market this particular player to the world to say, hey, he's improved. We can't even do that. So, guys, let me know what your thoughts are about this as well, about Kepa. What do we do? Do we somehow just cut our losses and let him go? Or I suppose just stick with him? So yeah, let me know what your thoughts are about this whole thing about Callum HudsonOdoi and Kepa. Let's have a good discussion. If you've enjoyed this video, guys, smash the like button. Please do it. And if you're here for the first time, subscribe. Help me get to 2,000 subscribers. I'm very, very close to it. And hit the bell notification to stay in touch with all my content. Until next time, see ya.